We were kind of asking questions, is it solution-y enough? But let's actually talk about this Winter Wyvern just a little bit more. We get to see the Legion Commander and the Winter Wyvern to open up this draft. How do you feel about it, Fog?
It's his bread and butter, Aster. They have, I mean, XXS has been playing Legion Commander in particular since before Legion Commander was even a good hero. He's always loved that hero. Wyvern, now they have 2 different save functions, and also I think Wyvern is starting to put another argument also. Just this hero is really strong in almost any situation. He's one of the other hero. I think one of the other supports like the Lich and Disruptor that can kind of just fit into majority of the drafts.
I do feel like we've also reached the part of this major where you look at the minor and you say, okay, that meta was that meta. We moved away from it. Everybody kind of feels more confident into what we're seeing in the major, and Winter Wyvern does seem to be a piece of that puzzle thus far.
Winter Wyvern is definitely something that actually even yesterday we didn't see quite a lot of that hero, but today he's picked so many times, and we see Winter Wyvern is on position 4, on position 5. On position 4 today, I believe, who did we see? Was it Yapstor with Orchid first? Yeah, it was him. Orchid first item on a position 4 Winter Wyvern, and he crushed. He crushed with that. So there are definitely many ways in which you can roll this hero. However, with the Legion Commander, he was always a strong duo. On that offlane, the spam from the Winter Wyvern plus the right clicks from the LC make for a fearsome combo.
Definitely. I think they cover each other a bit too, right? Because Wyvern's weakness is one of the big ones is Bat Rider in particular, and you already have a Legion, so right now you're already kind of covered for the Bat. You don't have that
this.
one. They go for a Sky, so they have kill combo right off the bat. I feel like that's one of my favorite things whenever you do see, like, you know, Legion. When I see a Legion without a pairing, it's like
Legion plus 1 burst. That's pretty much it. And Skyrat definitely fits that role quite a lot. You can already see that Disruptor and Lich, if they get caught in that duel, they most certainly die, as long as Skyrat is nearby. Loved losing with that Skyrat versus the Russian squad, by the way. Gives me some bad memories.
Yeah, that is one thing that Sky will always limit you a bit, is like your disables. Since you're probably going to be playing a 4-position Sky, you hope for your clumsy net to come around, something like that, but you will be a bit limited on disable. But the thing about Sky Legion that I like when you see Disruptor right away is they're going to run it, the Disruptor, and Disruptor does not like to get played like that. He likes to be, you know, doing the opposite. If he gets ran at, he can't use these glimpse plays to catch all these kills.
And in the laning stage as well, Rich and Moxie, like if you have Disruptor and you use that offensive nuke on the Legion Commander or the Sky, you just press the attack it off and you're fine, you cleanse it.
I'm excited to see Sky.
That is your hero, from what I hear, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a Sky fan.
Big Sky fan?
Yeah.
Tide Hunter, that's a hero we haven't seen recently.
Yeah, and picked into the Legion too.
Yeah.
So Legion is a hero that can actually hard lockdown Tide.
Yeah, not many heroes can do that.
Not many heroes can actually prevent him from, you know, Kraken Shell, but you can't Kraken Shell off Duel, sorry.
Duel.
So, or Doom, but Doom's not in the game.
Doom.
Why do you think we are seeing it here?
Probably they just want to like lock down big team fight coming into play. They already have so much. Well, in comparison, I feel like right now Aster they have the Wyvern for the team fight, but they're already more of like a pick off thing. So I think IG's trying to just take dominance at least over the team fight, and they like this hero.
Are you scared at all though? Because these are a lot of like pretty big ultimates. Obviously, Lich is not. You know, the ultimate is nice. Disruptors is the really big one right now, especially if you can pick up that Ags. But if they go for a team fight and they don't manage to get something with this, they're not going to be able to scrap. Like, that's going to be an opening definitely for the side of Aster to start taking advantage of it.
Yeah, assuming they're probably going to pick some faster heroes on their next two. The carry in the mid usually won't be those long cooldown ones, so they'll have to play around that a bit.
I think it's something similar necessary for Aster too. You're talking about Invictus, but Aster, what they need is some disable, some catch that's not on really long cooldown. What do you have now? You have 2 ultimates, and that's pretty much it. Winter's Curse and Duel. You don't really have any disable besides that. You can't stop people from TPing away in the first 10 minutes of the game.
So what heroes are you thinking then? Does Maggie answer that?
That's a big team fight ulti, but...
It's kind of a similar thing as well. You got this Magnus with RP. It's a disable, but it takes a time. However, at the same time, you have this Empower with the Legion Commander. But...
And they picked Mag into Tide. Tide used to be known as one of those. He's a combo breaker.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a combo breaker versus Mag. That's really interesting to see them kind of like going against, you know, the usual from what we see. Because like, yeah, Tide, Legion versus Tide, now Tide versus Magnus. But maybe they're thinking because the Legion's there, he won't be able. It won't matter because he might get controlled because of that. So, interesting approach, and they do just. I mean, they like Magnus. So.
I mean, Mag in general has been kind of an interesting one at the major. I feel like we kind of moved away from him, now maybe starting to gravitate back towards Mag a little bit.
It also allows them to maybe go for like, I don't want to say 4 protect 1 because Magnus and Legion kind of become their own carries, but it also will be a little bit like that, right? They have a Legion commander who can buff up the next carry that they pick up, the Magnus who probably will too, and they're going to pick a nice BKB carry because right now you look at the side of, I mean, they still have 2 picks left, of course, on IG, but these heroes are really susceptible for when those BKB timings do come out.
What's good versus Tidehunter on the lane right now that's left in the pool? Something.
Monkey King Ursas and
Monkey
stuff like
King
that.
and
They're
Ursa,
not
yeah,
really.
but we haven't seen them a lot,
Yeah.
right?
I was actually just talking about Ursa.
Monkey King picked up by Invictus.
Might be a bit of a
Might be.
steal, and it fits well. It can fit well into their draft too.
Monkey King is really good with Magnus as well in this whole lineup. I think it would be cool. It is also one of those heroes that just crushes Tidehunter in the laning stage. But you could perhaps answer with an Ursa for Aster, but what do you think about that hero? Like,
The Ursa?
Yeah, I've seen it before, that Basher rush. You just get that Basher and you're just constantly fighting.
Yep.
It's strong, but we haven't seen it this major quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought that the hero was like up on the rise a little bit, but now I think just because like PL started to get popular and everything, and your Naga Siren gets popular so much, right? That's where Ursa's just like, you can't play Ursa versus those heroes. Or it's very hard to play Ursa versus those heroes.
Monkey King might be a problem later on too, right?
Yep. Ban the Storm Spirit, appropriate when you play versus IG. There's some limited actual like real disables in this game on both sides, right? Actual stuns, let's say. There's duels, there's some silences, and some like curses.
PL wasn't banned earlier?
No, he wasn't.
What?
Yeah, he was
I
left the
just
whole time.
noticed it, yeah. All right.
Definitely, it's kind of funny in a lot of ways. You know, headed into this draft, you guys were saying you expect.
There it is.
Oh wow.
That's the game that they won against VG Gaming. They had the Arc Warden.
Oh God.
Arc Warden. This lane matchup, if he's up against Magnus, can be pretty decent for Arc Warden. You can win it easily. But then again, Magnus is going to farm the jungle. Now it's on Aster to respond to this hero properly. That's why they banned out the PL as well. PL just crushes Arc Warden in the lane and after.
Do you think something like this is a hero we don't see, but PA is one that used to be
With
a
Magnus.
solution, and he has Magnus.
That's true.
And it's versus Monkey King. Monkey King also does not enjoy playing versus PA too much either, because that evasion is very obnoxious. It's a hero we don't see though, so I feel like it's like it's a bit of a reach me even saying that one. But
Whatever they get, I just wish it's something that has reach, so so that it can get on top of that Arc Warden and deal with him easily. If they don't, they might be in real problems.
the only thing is like Lich Frost Shield, it really counteracts so much of those like straight physical damage carries. So maybe it is like, is Ember in the pool too?
Yeah, there's still an Ember available if they want to pick that up.
I think that's also still a possibility, but the matchup might be like impossible in the lane.
Yeah, if you play versus Arc Warden, it's difficult. If you play versus Tidehunter, it's difficult. If you play versus Monkey, it's difficult with Ember. And you need a fat Ember if you want to really pick him to counter that.
And I wanted a BKB hero initially, just because of the Disruptor Lich Tidehunter in particular. Not sure what other carry, like really just get on top of him.
Troll. We've seen this from Secrets actually. They've done this before.
And that could go mid. Right? I'm not sure how that matchup is.
It could be mid versus Arc, but you can also just put Troll versus the Tidehunter, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's one of those heroes that doesn't really suffer versus almost anything in the lane, and Tidehunter also shouldn't be too big of a problem, too big of a melon for him.
We're just seeing so many weird matchups, really. Like in the last game and now, just trying to figure out, how is it going to play. A little bit more traditional, though, obviously, with the Troll in the mid lane. But
Yeah, I mean, what big thing that just to jump in on right now, when we were about to start this draft off, you guys were saying you expected kind of the meta picks, right? Not what we're going to be getting in this first game of Dota at all. Very excited to see how this one actually does play out. Do you feel like anyone has a clear advantage in the draft?
Oh man, I like Troll a lot versus Monkey King throughout like the entirety of the game, and but I like IT more. I'll lean on myself. I'll lean on Aster a little bit just because I like that matchup.
All right, we're going to take it from Fogged. We're going to be headed into a break, but when we do return, we're going to get into the last series of the day and see who's going to be able to take the first game.
Prepare for battle.
Yes, this will do just fine.
"30 seconds to battle."
Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to IG versus Aster. I'm Eddie Pixel, I'm going to be joined by Kezu for this final best of 3 of the day here at the Leipzig Major. Well, Kezu, what are we excited to see here? We're getting an Arc Warden lineup come up from IG, that final pick troll. It's going to be that Magnus pairing from Aster. Is this a good response to an Arc Warden?
I think the troll's decent here. I personally would have perhaps preferred another hero such as Spectre or Ember, but I'm really going to look at this Arc Warden here because all Arc Warden matches I've seen, actually, the Arc Warden lineups, they've always been ahead in the early game. I don't know how, but these guys, they've played it a few times and they do it incredibly well, especially in the early game.
And in terms of because the lane, right, you're going to have this matchup against the Magnus. Is this a lane where the Arc Warden can start to push the Mag out early, or does the Mag just have that edge because of how hard he hits the creeps?
I think it should actually go quite even. Maybe the Mag can even out-CS him a bit, but I think eventually they just trade farm as the Mag will push out the lane and then start jungling.
Obviously, looking at the other lane setups we have at the moment, down bottom, you've got the Troll starting off with the backup of that Wyvern SCCC. It's going to be covered up by Baboka as JT and Kaka will try and put the pressure on. I guess this is one of the good things about having that Troll as the final pick. You put him in any sort of lane, he's going to have a decent time, right? Is he going to be pressured too much by this dual lane of IG?
No, he really shouldn't be. Troll is like one of the best laners out of all the carries in the game. He has a slow, he's range, he's tanky. He can also obviously turn into melee, be faster, have more armor. So bottom lane should definitely be in the favor of Radiant. Top lane is a bit more questionable. I think especially in the early levels, that's the only time that the Legion, this guy, can play aggressive. At least as long as IG play it properly. Because their heroes scale really well with levels. Once you get level 3 here on IG, I think this lane becomes really hard for Aster.
I mean, you can see it already, right? He hits level 2, and he's already starting to run down Fade with the help of Ollie. Looking for that wrap round. But he's able to get just far enough away through the trees Fade that the Monkey King cannot quite stay on top of him, and Fly will head back to the creep wave. But definitely a lane where you've got to be careful if you're Aster. Bit of pressure on SCC and the Troll, and again like this, what sort of build do you like to see coming out from a Troll Warlord? Are we going to see something like a Diffusal, something that's going to get him active early, or can you play a little bit more farm heavy and focus on the scaling?
I would say he should go one item into BKB. I'm not sure if that one item should be an SNY or a Diffusal. I haven't seen too many Trolls lately, so I don't know what the meta Troll build is right now, but honestly, he could go Diffusal BKB. I don't see a problem with that at all.
Oh, CS-wise at the moment, who's having the toughest sort of time. Bottom, both of them pressuring a little bit. The mid lane matchup, and you have that slight edge for the Magnus. It's actually bottom, Kaka. And he's going to try and get the Thunderstrike off onto Baboka. Damage over time is going to tick him out. Baboka gets the first blood. CJT trying for the trade back in return, but Baboka keeps the distance. The Gush comes out, but a Fairy Fire just in time for Baboka ensures that he remains alive. We'll have to take a long trip back to base, but doing a great job in securing that first blood, keeping himself alive and making sure that SCCC has the space to keep on farming there.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised that this bottom lane, as we said, is going in the favor of Radiant. That was a really nice play at the end by Wyvern there. He baited out the Fairy Fire as long as possible, so the Tide is even spending more mana than he perhaps should, but nothing too unexpected.
All things said and done in these first 3 minutes, the lane's staying pretty static. No one looking to make moves elsewhere. This top lane XXS is finding a good amount of farm. The level 3 is now there on Fly, so we'll see if IG do have a chance to make more of an aggressive move. But as it is so far, Aster making sure that they're holding strong on that top lane and getting a lot of farmer. A very, very good start for the Legion. Legion, as sort of an offlane, it's been very much a hit or miss hero. A hero that we're seeing a lot of teams still try and work with. I mean, use yourself as an offlane player. Like, how do you like to see the Legion being built? Because I feel like we see a lot of variants, whether it be like the blink rushes or going for some sort of aura build. Like, what in your mind is the way to play Legion nowadays?
I think it's very game dependent, but usually right now I'm not the biggest fan of these aura items. I think you should kind of build for yourself with some blink, maybe a BKB. Though this game might be one of the few exceptions because you do have Troll Mag, so you have two cores that really rely on right clicking and having these auras. So in this game, I don't think he will do it, but something like a Vlad Solar Crest would actually amp their power spike a lot in this game. It would help them with Roche, and it would really help them secure team fights as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point because I mean, yeah, as you were pointing at, mentioning, he is queuing up the blink, yeah. But then who is going to be sort of that aura builder on Aster? Who's going to be doing that?
Oh, I actually. Whoa.
He gets him. Does hold on to the balance, gets the kill. We'll see the trade there. The 1-for-1.
It's definitely a good trade for IG. Like we said earlier, when these levels ramp up on Dire, as we might even have another one up here.
Fly. He's able to get in. And Fade with that slow roll. He'll give his current his life for it. But the chase is going to continue to be there. Fly jumps forward, gets off the tree. Saves even the boundless. Makes it easy and makes sure there's no chance for Fade to deny himself to the neutral creep. So already that power spike early of the Monkey King being shown. They've got to respect Fly in that lane as he's very easily able to chase them down. Any sort of aggressive safe laner like this Monkey King backed up by a Lich, it just gets very, very scary very, very quickly. XXS and Fade are going to try and hit back. Fly, he's got the boundless strike to play with. He's going to want to try and line it up against something big. And there it is. Beautiful angle. Hits the two of them, gets the maximum heal. He's going to turn onto XXS with the back of a volley. He gets the kill. Fade, he's trying to finish this, but now Ollie, he's got the point of the gaze. They drag back Fade. Another dodge attempted by Fly. Does still get hit by the nuke. Won't quite die, and he can let Ollie finish off the job. Gets the double kill. I mean, they're playing this top lane beautifully.
Top tier gameplay of their heroes. My God.
They are. They're just pushing it to the edge, and Aster, they're just not getting a break in that top lane. This Monkey King Lich dancing around them.
I actually think this IG lineup, they played these exact three same heroes against Vici, I think yesterday or the day before. If I remember correctly, they had Lich, Monkey, and Arc Warden, and that was one of the games that they won really early, in like 25 minutes against Vici Gaming. So, I mean, you can see why they picked these heroes again. They, at least in this top lane, from what we've seen, they just played that engagement like close to perfection.
Yeah, they really did. They're certainly making Aster work for it over here. Of course, the farm's still good for XXS, but like a couple of deaths now in that lane, it's going to get that boost to the Monkey King as Fly is only going to get stronger, and it's not going to get any easier for Aster to try and fight him head on in these sort of situations where, now with that level advantage in particular, XXS has got to be a little careful how he approaches the wave as each time Fly just beating him out, making sure that this Legion commander does not feel safe and comfortable sticking around mid lane. Bit of a movement from Ollie's going to come in and throw out some harassment onto Chuan. Kaka's there as well on the side with the Thunder Strike. Backup's going to be there for Chuan by Fade. Comes in to help out. So here comes XXS. They're bringing in the numbers. A big nuke out as well. They're low IG as Fade steps forward. Has he got enough power in the tank to nuke down these heroes? Another bolt sent out onto Ollie will do the job. RP thrown down by Chuan. No messing around as he gets in on top of Emo. So Aster, for the struggles they had top, they look elsewhere to make moves. They bring numbers towards the mid lane and they get the big old kill on the Arc Warden.
Yeah, I really like what Aster are doing here. So first of all, the mag actually initially rotated out of the lane because, alright, we gotta kill a mid. Nice freebie here for Fade. So the top lane is pretty hard for Monkey, for the Legion. So they rotated the support out because they can't do much there anyway. So the Sky went mid instead of mag because he can farm the jungle. But once IG start pushing this mid lane with the siege creep, they respond really nicely. They bring these numbers to middle, they defend their tower, and not only do they defend it, they even get some cleanup kills in the mid lane.
Some smart reads from Aster to make moves in a situation and away from a lane that's got a little bit scary after that start that Fly and Kaka have managed to find up top. In terms of space around the rest of the map, SCCC still doing very well for himself. You can see, I mean, all 6 cores really at the moment. No one's really getting too left behind. It's a very close start between these teams.
Yeah, I mean, all of the core should be pretty happy in this game. I mean, they're all kind of getting, you know, what is to be expected. Maybe Monkey has a bit more, but for the others, they should all feel, you know, pretty confident in the game. They're all supposed to be doing what they can in this game. They've got all the farm they need. They got all the levels they want. So from now, it's kind of just whoever makes the first team move, probably, you know, within the next minute around the outpost, we'll see perhaps a smoke, a small little skirmish.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the next point for a fight for sure, as we are going to have probably the ults coming back online. You imagine the RP, yeah, it will be there for that 10-minute fight. So we'll see which side of the map both teams want to focus and try and contest for that outpost on. Tron's farm, standard stuff for the Magnus, queuing up the Echo Saber after the double braces. And bottom lane, JT is going to be getting the auras online for his team, has the pipe queued up first to help against the magical damage, mainly out from the Skywrath and the Wyvern.
Yeah.
Going to be where the huge burst is.
I do think here that at the 10-minute mark that IG have the better fight. So if IG start running at Aster, I don't think that Aster should take the fight, at least if the numbers are even. You have a Ravage that's really good around an outpost fight. Of course, you have Monkey King ulti. You may even have Static and Chain Frost. Perhaps not for this fight, but for the future fights. I definitely think this is something that Aster has to consider in this game.
We'll see coming up to the 10-minute. I'm going to put the pressure on bottom IG. They'll find the Boker in the tree line, but the flux and the race laid down. He cannot escape or hide. The Boker will fall as IG will be able to clean up on his bottom lane. Damn, almost certainly the Tier 1 towers. Aster doesn't show any signs of wanting to head any other heroes down here for now. And the outpost will go piece for a piece. Top lane Aster trying to find their own Tier 1 tower themselves. 1,200 gold towards the Blink Dagger XXS. And both teams just avoiding one another, not looking to take a fight. Let's say that JT is coming in with a TP, and he's going to immediately get dueled, and he's dead. We'll see if IG can still find anything out of this. Firefly dropped the Wukons with a balance strike. It's off the mark. He doesn't trap anyone in there, and Aster are able to walk away. I mean, straight up there, we are seeing one of the reasons why Tide can just get heavily countered by the Legion. A duel into a Mystic Flare, and that's your offlane dead in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea of IG actually, because they were getting the bot tower before IG was, before Aster was pressuring the top tower. But the idea is good, but the execution was definitely way off. Like, your Tide Hunter cannot die like that. Nobody was close by. If you want to do this play, Lich already has to be there with a Frost Shield, and Monkey King has to be, you know, like, there was just like 4 or 5 seconds off in this entire play. They need Monkey there and the Frost Shield, and then this whole play can work. They may defend their tower and even kill Aster's heroes, but, you know, Aster capitalized on this small mistake, and they get to trade the towers.
Yeah, it felt like JT was, maybe sort of trying to call the bluff there and hope that him TPing in on the front would have been enough to sort of scare Aster back and say, okay, they're coming in for a fight, but Aster just keeping that cool and saying, hey, we just focused down this Tide, we're going to delete him in a second, and it doesn't matter if there's more people coming in, they're not going to have a Ravage to fight around. And Aster certainly making the smart heads-up move to not back up.
Yeah, I mean,
just take him out.
Like the Tide here in this game, he's good against Mag and Troll especially, but you have to respect the Legion duo and especially the Skywrath ulti. Like, they can kill you if your team is not close by, so you need to adjust to that and respect their heroes.
That's definitely the reason why we are seeing him just trying to get that pipe online as soon as he can, so he has a chance against the burst. Inside the jungle they come, and they do find the Troll. Static storms down, but he has caught. He's trying to get him up. JT comes in with a Ravage to wrap around and make sure there's no backup coming into place from Aster. Actually, an early buyback from SCCC. Wants to try and fight off the back of this curse. The new comes out. That's JT dead again on the front lines. Now Aster with the chase, see if they can find more out of this. SCCC certainly wants to after utilizing the buyback here. Doesn't look like they will. The double will fall, but the rest of IG are able to escape. I mean, again, we're just this Tide, he just keeps melting on the front lines.
Yeah, like, I mean, they did get the kill on the Troll, and he did buyback, but I mean, I kind of like this. Like, early buybacks, they're cheap, they're good. Also, they get some turnaround kills. Also, here they're pressuring the mid tower, even though there might be a turnaround on them.
That's a little scary for IG because Tron, he has got RP ready to go. Another TP in from JT. Look at XXS, he just stands there. JT's, you know, he remembers what happened before. He's cancelling that TP. He's like, I'm not stepping forth in front of an Legion commander. JT's got to be careful, and this time he holds back on the TP. And does mean that Aster already came to time. Top lane Firefly goes for the solo play, gets the kill, is silent stop. Fade's going to try and chase and slow him down. But Firefly a little too far away. Will get away with that and puts himself that little bit closer towards the diffuser Brutal Blade, only about 700 gold, and he will have that done on the Monkey King.
Yeah, I really like how Aster are playing, at least. Like, you can see when they are at these towers, they know what they want to do. They buy back instantly, they have this Legion in a good position. If this tide comes, he's dead, because they know they can kill him. So they're playing the heroes properly, they understand what they need to do right now. So you can really tell that they're playing with confidence.
And in terms of some of the other item time is coming out, SCCC, he's about 600 away from the Maelstrom. He's got that health talent as well, so can be a little more confident going in and knowing that even under a Ravage, it's unlikely that IG will be instantly able to burst him. He may just make the most of the space. He's got his Wraith Bands done, trying to get the Maelstrom out for himself, and JT really does need to try and get invested in that hood or pipe so he stands some sort of a chance in these fights against that massive amount of magical damage that Fade throws out off the back of XXS getting any sort of catch with Jewel. And XXS, as you saw, he's got his blink, Fade, he's got the rod, so a lot of catch now on Aster, as they'll be very ready to just look for pickoffs across the map. They'll be ready to hunt and find even some of the bigger heroes like Emo's Arc Warden in the sort of dream situation.
Yeah, they're definitely going to look to smoke very soon. They got some key items. I'm actually surprised that Sky has an Atos already. This is somewhat early. Legion has its blink, so it's a good timing for them. The rest of the other heroes, they just kind of want to farm. You know, Troll and Mag, they're not anywhere close to their timings. Mag at least wants a blink dagger before he gets, you know, involved somewhere. Troll's going to keep farming his Maelstrom. And for IG, for them it's a little bit different. Everyone but Arc is kind of ready to fight. So we'll see if they clash into each other, because I do think Aster, very shortly, as we see here, they're looking for the smoke. Bounty runes have just spawned, so IG might be around here.
Let's see what they can catch. Because at the moment, right, Dual and Mystic Flare should pretty much kill most of these heroes.
Yeah. Only way maybe the Tidehunter if he pops the hood before, but other than that, we may even have a smoke on smoke here.
Oh, they're going to be ready for the counterplay. They do have all their ults tied with the Ravage and that Static Storm follow-up. They can get that laid down onto one of the key cores of Aster. It's going to make it very easy for IG. As Kaka heads in, gets the vision for the Glimpse. This is a good catch. XXS, he's going to be dragged back into the kinetic field. Does the rest of Aster want to help him out? Doesn't look like it. The Junior Mastery is built up and he's beat down. XXS will fall as IG making the call to make that move at the same sort of time that they knew that Aster would be hunting for action themselves, and they'll make sure that that smoke, that potential blink reveal of the Legion does not result in anything, and they're not done yet. They've actually, look at what SCCC is. He does manage to get himself out of the Wukong's command. That was a bit of a glimpse gone wrong, was it?
Yeah, that was a bit of a miscommunication. Monkey started channeling his ulti, but the Disruptors, you know, ended up glancing him away. So yeah, a little bit of an oopsie here. But earlier, to go back to the small scrimmage we had, I think it was very smart of Aster to back off. Like I mentioned earlier, right now,
lost more though.
Yeah, they cannot fight into IG. Like if it's these open fights and IG are running on them, it is too hard for them to fight. They need like a split fight, or maybe they start with a curse somewhere, because right now both the Troll and the Mag, they are not ready to fight. And also, we just finished a pipe on the Tidehunter, so I do think IG have a great timing right now, and they should look to force another engagement somewhere. Perhaps around the tier 1 and mid, you may want to use a smoke after you get the lanes out and see if you can, you know, find yourself a pickoff into a tower.
Well, I've got the second blink done now, so they do have a lot of catch, and obviously with the blink it's going to help speed up that Mag's farm, getting them across the map from camp to camp, and already, of course, holding on to that top spot. It's going to be hard to catch up with them. Emo's going to do his best job with the Maelstrom done now. We should start to see that Arc Warden's farm severely increase in pace if he's able to keep himself out of harm's way and make sure that Aster are unable to catch him off with these smoke ganks they're attempting.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that they're actually just running at the mid tower like this. Perhaps they just want to see how Aster respond to this. They're going to send the Claw and the Tidehunter, it looks like. I want to see how Aster respond to this, because I think unless they see an opening that IG gives to them, that they're not really willing to take this fight. Like, they need to at least be very careful about how they do it.
They're coming in with the wraparound Aster. As I say, they have the double blinks. They've got a lot of ways to start things. One's going to be dropped down. XXS, he gets the easy two runs to support. Ollie's gone. Do they want to go for more? JT's starting to walk towards them. IG still posturing for a fight. There's the buyback straight away from the list. JT pots the Ravage, catches the three of them. Static Storm dropped down on the Magnus. They need more damage to kill him off, though. The Cold Embrace is going to start healing him up from Maboka. Trial still very healthy. Fade will be caught on the back of it all, and they are split up, Aster, as IG now start to run them down. Fly, he's off the mark, though. Again, the Boundless Strike actually misses, and with that in mind, he's just able to blink up to the high ground and TP out. We've seen a couple of boundless strikes that they're just off the mark, and it's costing them kills. They're able to slip away from them.
Yeah, I think this is the second time they missed a kill, and then earlier they had that small miscommunication with the ulti and the glimpse, because I really like this buyback from Lich. I mean, initially Aster get a great initiation off. If they get one of the supports first, that's great, but since they're still pretty close to towers, buybacks, you know, they're pretty easy. The Lich gets to come in pretty fast, and I think if that boundless strike hits, then overall the trade at the end would be worth it for IG.
There we go, another catch. Fly. He's been found. He's been taken down. Unfortunate series of events there for the Monkey King. In the top lane, JT, Chuan, and SCCC, they catch him out as well. It's as if, you know, as you said, you know, as soon as Aster realized that IG, they didn't get the team fight that they wanted, and then IG go back to splitting up across the map, Aster are very quick to punish them when they're separated.
Yeah, I really like how Aster are playing right now. Like in mid, they see that small engagement, they take it. Mid lane, this guy might even get a kill on this Lich.
See if they can get an extra bit, and you can. Looks like Baboka can't quite get the reach in.
Not quite, but I do like how Aster are playing the heroes. I really like it. The Sky and Legion are playing together. The other guys, you know, the Wyvern is going to push out a lane. Both Troll and Mag will farm a lane or jungle. As you can see, they play as a pair in bottom. They get a kill there. Mag and Troll are playing together, and they even scored a kill on top lane too. So that's great for them. And right now, they're just going to look to get their BKB timing.
And if they can keep up the play like this, it's going to be good timings indeed. 1200 away for SCCC. And once that BKB is done, not really an answer at all from IG's heroes. He's going to be invincible in these fights. And then IG are going to have to be that more careful about how they do go about starting off the action.
Yeah, I do think that IG should once again, when they do have Ravage ready, I think they should try to squeeze in 1 or 2 more fights before they end up finishing multiple BKBs. Troll is very close to his. I'm not fully sure about Magnus yet, but he should also be on the way to his. So yeah, I think that at least one of their windows is slightly closing right now, because they have a Mjolnir finish on Arc. He's really strong. They have this Diffuser Blade on Monkey as well, so they're kind of peaking right now, at least until these BKBs come out, and then it becomes a little harder for a while.
IG, they are grouping up around the mid. See if this is going to be turning into a move. They head over. Baboka, he has been found. They're heading over on towards the Wyvern as Baboka is falling low. Yep. They'll catch one. Support's gone. It's not really the biggest of catches there, of course. They want to try and find something else, but Aster, again, they just split up. It's IG using a lot of resources to make these plays around the mid, where Aster, they're just able to pick up a lot more across the map. Getting away would alleviate that difference, though, as IG do go into the pit. See if Aster are going to be aware of this and do anything about it. It's going down very, very quickly with that attack speed buff. It's already down to half, and Aster, they do not look to be in position to get over it. Chuan is not in the neighborhood, and this rush, it's going to be IG's just like that. They'll get into the pit, they'll take it, and Aster were not prepared for that one, and now IG, they're looking for a further catch. They get the glimpse back onto XXS, straight away into kinetic field. Firefly's going to lay down the Wukong. They'll look over towards SCCC. SCCC's got the BKB, the turn on the Mystic Flare. It brings Firefly not enough damage. The Monkey King will survive, and of course has that Aegis, so he's not even at that much of a threat. And IG, they're not done. They're chasing from all the brokers under the cover of the Glimmer Cape. It's another missed balance. Sure, he didn't have the vision. He did have to take a guess at it, Fly, but it didn't connect once more. So another free walk home for Baboka.
That was pretty interesting, because IG turned a pick-off that, you know, wasn't the best. They sure would have hoped to find a core at first. They found Wyvern. They just run to the Roach Pit. And I'm not sure if Troll had his BKB right at the moment when they went, because if he did have it, I think they could have considered to, you know, end up contesting it. But then they didn't, but they still stuck around, and they ended up giving IG another kill on this Legion, which now translates into a tier 2 tower as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, as well, IG just, their lineup took Roshan surprisingly fast. I don't think Aster necessarily expected it to go down that quickly to IG. They just got in there and it was gone. That buff up from the magnetic field keeping them safe, and the attack speed. They took it down at a very quick rate.
Yeah, the magnetic field and the gush definitely started to add up there. As you could see, it fell so quickly. Right now, I think Aster are just going to wait for at least a second BKB on mag before they're going to consider to fight. So for now, you're most likely just going to see them to split push out mid and bottom, get their items ready, wait for IG to maybe go back defend, and see if they can find a split fight or an opening with a smoke. Because I think fighting straight up 5-on-5 is still not that easy now that they have this Aegis on IG.
Yeah, for sure. Bringing down Fly 2 times. It's going to be very, very hard. All focus on getting those items done before they do turn up to the 5-on-5. The side of IG will see how persistent they want to remain up here. There's the BKB done for Magnus. As he can turn up, look to try and find those RPs, which aren't going to be easy. Both Kaka and Ollie consistently sort of hanging back, so you never catch the supports really in that RP unless you look specifically for that wraparound. And even then, you've got to be prepared for the counterplay of that tide. Bottom lane, just a bit of a poke onto SCCC, seeing if you can get a BKB charge out of him maybe. In fact, SCCC sort of turns towards Kaka. JT's heading down, BKB just in time for the TP out. Smart moves there from SCCC and makes sure that he isn't caught yet again by the balance strike. So Fly, he just can't catch a break, he just can't slam anyone down.
Yeah, at least not right now. Small win for them still, they do get this BKB gone from Troll. What I would have liked right away, because Aster know that they all TP bottom, I would have liked for them to show one hero bot now that has a TP left and smoke the other 4 heroes across the map. Because right now, what is Aster's plan? They don't want to fight. So Aster right now, naturally, they're gonna move up top and dodge IG. So if IG had smoked quickly up top, they could have maybe, you know, found themselves a favorable fight, but it's not really what they want to do. They're just gonna keep the Arc Warden farming in the jungle, as we can see, and the other 4, they're gonna take the tower. So they feel that this is good for them, and they'll continue at this pace.
And this tier 2 will be left undefended. Another objective for IG, slowly closing that lead that Aster do have. Very, very close one, only 1k in it. It's a 25-minute game, 12-12. These teams proving to be very evenly matched here. And again, that could definitely go either way. You've got the scaling properties of Aster with this Magnus and Troll backup. And then obviously you have to compare it to the fact that IG, they're always going to have this Arc Warden, and Emo's Arc Warden still up there close to the farm of Magnus.
Yeah, a lot of big items have just been finished now. So Aster, they do have triple BKB on all their 3 cores. We have a Blink Dagger on Tide, so, you know, that could maybe surprise Radiant. I don't know if they've seen this Blink yet. I don't know. I guess Tide just showed now on the wave, so obviously they know. So both teams are ready to fight. Now it's just going to come down to who initiates on who and who is more vision in the fight. Because spell usage and using your BKBs properly is going to be super important in this upcoming fight.
Look at the starts on the XXS. Clear for the duel onto Ollie. Here's the BKB as well. It's just the Legion command target. Hey, at the end of the day, dual damage is dual damage. But it's none of the cores. IG only losing that Lich. The rest of them have already left that area. And still not really the big sort of catch or kill that Aster are trying to find that will allow them to turn that kill into an objective.
Yeah, I think that's okay for them. Like you said, they get that dual damage. Right now, how I would like Aster to play fights is that, you know, 2 of their heroes are gonna go in, and then I think preferably the Magnus, he stays out and he waits a bit. So the Legion and the Troll, they basically enable him in the fight. They help him to get an easier RP off in the fight by basically starting the fight for him. They run in with their BKBs, maybe they get to go on one of the supports, and then the Mag, he's just a little bit patient and jumps in when he thinks the time is right.
And they really need that BKB on Fly. Flies should have it. He's better a couple of got away. You can see at Fade, it's going to be the sneaky one, but that Shadow Blade build on Sky. It's all about the setup, all about the catch. And so he'll be hunting around, but his job just indeed got that little bit harder. Another BKB out on one of IG's cores.
Man, this Orb of Destruction drop on Monkey is incredibly strong, because as far as I'm aware, that procs on every Monkey you have in your ult.
That one, I think that one should.
Yeah, so they're all gonna get minus armor, they're all gonna get slowed, because why not?
Yeah, that's gonna make it pretty hard in the fights. As IG, they are looking for one of those smoked up. down the mid, ready to utilize Fly's newfound strength with that completed BKB. You know, using the double, trying to scout things out, Aster keeping themselves hidden over the other side of the cliff. So who's going to be the one to step forward first? IG remaining in the shadows, just on the side of it. They'll see Fade. He will start to have a poke at him, but with the Shadow Blade, Fade is fine, can get himself safely away from the Tempest double.
I like what IG are doing here, because I don't think they have to hard commit, really. They have this arc clone, and if one of the supports do step out of position, I think their best play is to use Boundless Strike and try to kill that support with the arc clone, because I don't think the Tide wants to go in first and initiate unless Aster are really out of position, and I don't really see why that would happen right now. I don't see Aster mispositioning, like for no reason, unless there's a fight.
Yeah, because I think JT sort of knows as well. If he goes in, he'll get the Ravage off, but he's going to die. You know, at the end of the day, so they've got to make sure that it's going to be worth it, that sort of commitment will result in them getting the kills that they need off the back of the Ravage. And more over the back. And Mr. Ravage boy, he's been found. JT gets walked down by Aster as IG started to back off onto their half of the map. Aster were hot on the heels, and JT gets caught on the back lines.
Well, good kill. Once again, some dual damage. Now it's going to be time to push out your lanes. As you are playing against this Arc Warden, they're going to have to do that a whole lot more this game. And it's probably not going to get any easier in terms of the lane push. Monkey King is pretty annoying. You know, he's going to bounce around, push out some lanes. Same with this Arc Warden Illu. And to touch on your point with the Ravage, another reason why it's not that easy for the Tide to go in first is that, you know, Arc Warden isn't the most mobile hero. So unless his ulti is already up and somewhat in the fight, I think engaging with the Tide isn't as easy as it, you know, as it may be in many other games.
Interesting to see the, or is it really so just the amount of Shadow Blades that are coming out on Aster's lineup? As I said, Fade got his. You now see the Magnus. He's finished up one as well. Chuan feeling the necessity to have that ability to catch them by surprise. He's going to find Kaka. Does jump in for the skill back. He's going to beat him down with the help of SCCC. They should have a good shot at this. They even get the jewel on the back lines, finding the ledge. Again, this time 2 kills for SCCC. As they are finding dual win after dual win, doing an excellent job of building up that damage. Success is now, this is a good roach spawn for them as well. They're straight to the pit, 30 seconds without the supports of IG. And with SCCC, they will take this one down very, very quickly.
Yeah, IG are definitely giving this up, judging their positioning. Oh, they're
scared.
They're a little afraid here.
Do they need to be afraid? What is this just because I guess they don't have any vision on them at the moment?
They're currently afraid because the both Monkey and Arc were off the map. I think only the Tide showed mid, but I do feel like the Tide showing mid was enough info for them. But they're just looking to, you know, smoke on them and try to bait that they're roaching. I think this could work out really well.
See what they can get out of this. No one's inside of IG's jungle at the moment. IG, Ima's going to use the double to check out the pit, so he knows that they're not in there, that they're likely to be making this move because they're not showing anywhere else on the map, Aster.
I see him.
Fly's in the trees, they've found him. He's skewing the jewel, not quite working out exactly as intended, but hey, gets the job done. Skews him over, he's into a Mystic Flare, that'll do it.
Okay, so now they need to be a little careful, Aster. They're probably going to step back to the Roche, but buyback is available, of course. The Dire Shrine is still there, because IG want to fight this. You're not going to want to give up the second Aegis and Cheese just like that, so expect another fight to come up very shortly.
Yeah, Aster would definitely love to try and push the issue there, make it so that the Monkey King is forced to buy back for this. But they are continue to play scared. I guess they do know Ravage, Static Storm, you know, that is enough sort of a combo to buy time to lock someone down for the Monkey King to buy back and TP over.
Yeah, they're also pinging bottom right now because they know again that, you know, Arc Warden may eventually get down there again. Also important to know that IG, they did just remove all of Aster's wards that they did place in the Dire jungle, which is very important. Otherwise it would make it way easier for Radiant to play the map right now because they don't actually see anyone on Dire on the map apart from this Arc Warden.
Fine.
He wants to cube another Shadow Blade here on the Legion. So the other
triple Shadow Blade.
Yeah, so the other 2 Shadow Blades, at least for Sky, it's going to help positioning and maybe to set up a kill on a side lane. I think for Magnus, it makes the most sense, at least in my mind, because for him, it's going to help him to maybe get on these supports and the Arc Warden, because he's definitely the best hero to do that. Like for Legion, it's not easy to do that. He most likely will duel one of the supports or the Tide if he's not in a great position. Oh, That is a Roshan for Dyer. Whoopsie.
I mean, they just get in and take it. After sort of all those moments of Aster messing around the pit, not really wanting to full commit, it just ends in a situation where Aster don't even fight IG for it. They're backed off. IG are able to just walk in and take it.
I'm very surprised that they gave it up like that. I don't know if this was a conscious decision or did they maybe not know. I mean, they didn't have vision and they didn't stay around and they didn't use their scan, so maybe they were unaware. I'm not quite certain.
They're still going to go on the hunt, despite the fact that IG have been the ones to pick up that Aegis and Cheese. Fade, scouting things out. It's going to get the vision and the information for them to walk in, take out Ollie. Tron still seeing if he can find the setup for more. JT thinking about blowing the Ravage, but won't quite be in range. They're looking for Fly in the back lines. But he's got that Aegis. They're going to have to take him down twice, and of course also through that BKB. Another jump across, he pounces off the trees. He's going to start going on to Fade. Fade has the Shadow Blade. This time the Boundless Stroke will bring down the Sky. The buyback comes out from Ollie. They want to keep this fight going. Winter's Curse popped into place. Tron, he's going to be there with a follow. RP down onto the two of them, onto the back lines. Legion, he's trying to go for the duel, but he's losing the duel. The duel will be a failure. Emo gets the play. Another Static Sword down. It's trapped the Magnus. It's trapped the Troll. And this is just seemingly a disaster for Aster, as that's SCCC dead for 100 seconds. And they've still got Ravage. JT's still good to go. He didn't even need it.
Yeah, so I think Aster's idea there was, so they had the outpost and they had a really good ward on IG for the majority of the fight. As in mid lane, Baboka may just die in his own base at the tier 4.
The Glimmer Cape bends.
Oh boy.
And Fly just cleaning them up right now.
One kind of dragon killed them all.
It's just been a bit of a strange past few minutes for Aster. The game, it was very even. I mean, it still is, there's only 2k in it, but some rough decision making from Aster. You know, we saw earlier they were pretty good at backing away from a bad fight. Fade, he's trying to kill him. Imo just stands his ground and kills him off. I don't know how dead on Aster. IG, they're taking the racks. Yeah. They won't happen. Aster sort of just took their foot off the pedal and stopped doing anything, and IG's just abused that entirely. They take Roche, they take a great fight, and now they're taking the base.
Yeah, they're certainly not feeling that great right now. So this top fight, I think, once again, the idea is maybe okay, but then execution, not so much. So they feel like they have the outpost, they have a great ward. They can maybe get a good jump, as they did on Lich. They kill him off initially, but then they realize, you know, Monkey has Aegis, they should kind of just back out. But they all started getting caught and they committed to the fight, which was certainly not the right choice.
Yeah, this is looking very strange from Aster. I mean, that's another melee rack's gone. IG now 10k ahead, as this game has very, very quickly gotten out of control for Aster.
There's one really big item pickup that was just achieved by this Arc Warden. He just picked up an E-Blade. Here again we see the fight. This is the ward we were talking about. Lich is already dead. Now he bites back. But now you see Aster, they're kind of sticking around. The only way they can take this fight is if they get to split them up. They kill the Lich, maybe they get a good curse.
They get baited by this, right? Yeah, they see this setup. Yeah. But they try and bite off more than they could chew. This deep commitment from the Legion, he's just crazy. I guess he just totally underestimated the damage output that Emo has.
Yeah, certainly sometimes, you know, you tunnel vision on something, you feel like, oh, I got this dual opportunity on this Arc Warden, I'll go and take it. But even beforehand, they stack their BKB with the curse, but one of the targets in their curse is the Monkey with Aegis, so, you know, it's not really the best choice to start off. So right now, Aster, they're gonna have to, they need to play these next fights more sharp, you know, they can't overcommit, they need to play around curse. It's really important they get a good curse off and a nice RP.
So they can go for now. XX says he did, well, he finished off the old Blade Mail. I mean, Blade Mail nowadays, it's not the item that it used to be, is it?
No, certainly not. It's a lot worse. It doesn't work, obviously, against BKBs anymore. And also in this game, there's a Frost Armor from Lich, and most importantly, the item I talked about, the E-Blade from Arc Warden. It's so strong on that hero. Not only is it great stats for you, but of course you can use 2 of them. And if you look at the Radiant heroes, it actually counters like 4 of them. It's good against Duel, it's great against Curse, it's good against Troll Ulti, and it's great against Magnus RP. So this item pickup, they're already ahead, and this item makes them even stronger.
Just for all the great duels that XXS has been able to make this game, for me, his iron progression just, it feels like a bit of a question mark, especially if he does still go for the Shadow Blade after. I mean, Is a third Shadow Blade on Aster really going to do anything?
It's probably because, I mean, they just don't feel good about this Arc one, right? I think they feel pressured, like, mentally, as here we see a Sky who is dead. He's kind of enormous and might even be more kills here.
I mean, Tries popped his BKB. No, the Legion's dead. The curse into nothing.
Uh-oh. They also still have double Ravage.
And they're just breaking down Aster.
That is certainly what it looks like right now. And now this is actually a time where if they show up, I would not blame the Tide at all to go blink Ravage. You know, he has 2 Ravages. They also have a Boundless Strike. They're feeling great. They have this momentum. And they're strong enough to, you know, go play aggressive. So I hope that they stay here and they look for an engagement.
Aster, if they do try and fight this, it's going to be around the Legion. There you have JT just jumps in, starts to tease him a little bit with the tentacles. He's holding on to both of those Ravages. He doesn't even need to pop them for them to have the space to take the melee axe. The E-Blades out onto SCCC, forcing Aster back towards the fountain.
Well, just continue. There's really no reason to stop right now.
Yeah, they just get a mega creeped.
Eventually, Aster, they have to go on you. And if they miss position like this, so you have free choice to go. Double Ravage is still available.
Pop down the Wukongs. They got the space to hit the racks. It's a buyback from Baboka. Tron does get in. He gets the 2-man archer. He tracks them back. There's the Ravage though. JT commits. The BKBs were out in time though. They draw down the Troll. So the Monkey King, they can fly. It doesn't look like it, but the Static Storm, the Mew onto this Troll. SCC's dead. They're both got a buyback. They cannot kill Emo. Emo's just shredding them with the damage he's doing. There's the second Ravage. JT's in. Catches pretty much all of them as they look towards XXI, forcing back. JT pops the cheese. He's back up to full. Still very tanky, especially with the Essence Ring, giving them an extra boost of health. Emo sending the Tempest double forward. The fear of keeping JT safe from the right click. Tron is in. It's GG. It's all over for Aster. As that, the second half of the game, it was just a train wreck for them. They had an even start. They had a good start. They were making smart moves. And then, I don't know, they just went sort of a Shadow Blade too far down the crazy end of things. What was Aster doing? I don't know. I mean, IG